USC is in West Lafayette, Indiana for the first time since 1976. It's time to beat the Boilermakers on the road.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin. I'm back with Marvin Powell III again. Thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, pick your platform, download this podcast. This show's always going to be free. This show always appreciates your support. And this episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is the only beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. Marvin, you're back again. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. My favorite show.
When the fans want something, the fans get something. So that's why you're here. Listen, you weren't at that game in 1976. You're still probably in elementary, junior high school.
I was born in 1976.
I take it back. You were just a gleam in your daddy's eye.
Yeah. But I did play Purdue in my time at SC.
I got that down here. So US 50 years ago, not quite 50 years ago, USC won that game in West Lafayette, 31-13.
My dad played
that. That was the halftime score last week with USC versus Georgia Southern. The last time these two teams met, and you just alluded to it, that was 1998?
I believe so. Yeah, Drew Brees was the quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember how hot it was inside the Coliseum that day? Because I do.
Listen, I'm just happy we got the win, to be honest with you. That's what I remember, the win.
Yes, and I think you guys beat up Purdue, and Drew Brees was 27-17 was that. So,
yep.
This game, how do you see this? Let's just talk USC Purdue on the road. I mean, USC is putting up points like they're a pinball wizard right now. It is literally fun to watch. They have 132 points through the first two games. They're 1 point shy of matching that 2005 team that went undefeated when they put up 133 through their first two games. I'm not making that prediction. But when you look at this game on the surface, just on the big picture, you see USC and Purdue kind of going at each other.
So when I look at Purdue, I look at a team that, in my mind, struggled in the first two games. And what I mean by that is, first game they played Ball State. They win 31-0. They shut them out. 30 is anything over 30 is respectable. But when you're a Big Ten team and you're playing an FCS school or a lower FBS school, right, I'm looking for you to separate a little more than that, to be honest with you. And then when you look at their game against Southern Illinois, it was a game. They were in a dogfight, till halftime, third quarter, fourth quarter, they were in a dogfight. When you look at USC and them playing, two teams who are lower FBS schools, we handled that. We handled that the way we should. We separated. We showed the difference between an elite program on the rise and a subpar program. So when I look just off of that, I mean, Mark, if you've ever seen He-Man, the cartoon, he had remember Battle Cat? Battle Cat was okay. Yeah. We're Battle Cat. They are Hello Kitty. Okay, this is really what's going on here. So, big picture, this should be a game where we separate. I think that Purdue is better than the first two teams we played, but just a notch, to be honest with you. This is a program who, and I know last year doesn't count, but in their last game they lost 60-something-0, and then in the first two games of this season with 50 new players, in my opinion, they struggled to really separate the way they should. It's interesting because when I watched their coach, when I watched their post-game conference, I mean, he was talking about how this is Purdue after the game. This is Purdue football, and this is how we're going to play. And I mean, he's giving a Newt Rockne speech, after Ball State and Southern Illinois. Right. And then they asked him, how does he feel about opening up conference play? He said he's excited. He's lying. He's not excited about this game.
He's doing his best coach speak.
I get that, but how I see this game going, I see us playing more our starters probably a little bit longer. Which with that you're going to see even more points. You're going to see more stops. I think a lot of the mistakes that we made, and a lot of which we saw in the last 2 games, a lot of it was, some of our starters were out of place, but we also played a lot of young guys. We played the whole roster. So you're going to get those kind of mistakes. In this game, I think Lincoln Riley realizes it's Big Ten play. He realizes this one really counts. He realizes this one is different than the first 2. And I see us coming out there strong. I see us running the ball through them. I was watching our first 2 games today, and our offensive line was surging through the defensive lines of these other schools, which they should, But I'm looking for the same type of output. I'm looking for the same type of play calling as in the last game, meaning we're going to run the ball more. And whether, just running the ball, setting up play action, setting up Jacoby, setting up Mekhi Lemon, that's going to be our game. And with us playing more starters and playing the starters, longer, which I think we're going to do, I think you're going to see a similar outcome. It might not be a 60-point game. It might not be 50, but it could be 40. That's very realistic, Could be more than that.
Yeah, we'll save our predictions for the third segment, but I agree with you. I think USC's, as far as the rotation, as you were talking about, I think they trimmed that down significantly. Yes. I don't think, number one, you don't travel the whole team when you're on the road anyways, but whatever that number is, 73, I think you're allowed to do in the big conference. I still don't anticipate seeing all 73 players playing. It's probably going to be closer to that 48 to 50, somewhere in there. You're too deep on both sides, and then you have a few guys who, kind of get in there just for some extra rotation, extra breathing room.
Yeah. When I watch Purdue play, the quarterback is mobile, right. Lanky, big guy. He throw it a little bit, but he's mobile. And the quarterback, in my opinion, is what's going to help them stay in this game. I don't see them, they have a featured running back. He got 20 plus carries last game, over 100 yards. That's not going to happen like that. I hope they run the ball. I hope they come out running the ball against us. In spite of everybody and what they're saying about our D-line, listen, these guys will be coached up and be ready to go. I think them running the ball, which is going to be their game, is to our advantage. I believe that going into this game.
Yeah, no. Barry Odom has talked about they want to lean on their running back's name is Devin Mockabee. He's senior. Yeah. He's a good running back. But if they cannot control the line of scrimmage, if they cannot, get first downs by running the ball, controlling the clock, controlling the tempo of the game, and I think we'll dive more into that in the second segment, is they might have the ability to score with USC early, but if they get behind early, in other words, they get down, 10, 14, 18, 21 points, they don't have the firepower where they can come back and score with USC. That's going to be the difference in this game.
Yeah, they have Michael Jackson, who was one of our special athletes. I like Michael at USC. I thought he was going to be a really good player. Yeah, but I don't see a lot of team speed out there. I don't. And I told you a couple of days ago, I don't see the team speed. So for them, I mean, they're going to have to play perfect football, in my opinion. And listen, I respect Purdue. They are a Big Ten team. They definitely have, I'm sure they have some NFL players in that roster somewhere. Anything can happen. We've all seen Appalachian State and Michigan, but at the same time, they're going to really have to play a perfect game. And with that said, we're going to have to also make sure we don't have any turnovers or stuff like that, which we've been good about for the most part. But just on the surface, this, I think we're a 21-point favorite. I think that's kind. I do. I think that's kind. So the quarterback, being athletic as he is, older guy, veteran player, we'll see what he does. He breaks contain. He gets he converts a few third downs, and they could do something. But when you look at this game as it goes on, I mean, I just think that we're a different caliber athlete as a whole, and we should be separating as the game goes on. And that's what I'm expecting to see. I expect them to make plays because, again, they play a spread. They have Big Ten athletes. They're going to make plays. They're going to run the ball. I think right now the running back's longest run is like 13 yards, which isn't impressive at all. But
not when you have a King Miller on your team.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, for Purdue, they really are going to have to play their perfect game, and that quarterback's going to have a Heisman performance. I believe that.
No, I absolutely. They're going to have to. USC is going to have to turn the ball over multiple times. They're going to have a lot of back-breaking type of penalties. They're going to have to do a lot of things wrong in order just for Purdue to be competitive enough to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, this is a team, Purdue last year, they won just one game all season long. They have a new coaching staff. You talked about, 50 new transfer players in. They are playing better football this year. They've already doubled up their win total over last year. So the fans will be there. They'll be excited. The stadium will be full, jacked up, ready to go. But I think I agree with you. Once reality kind of sets in where, we're 2-0. We beat, Ball State. We beat Southern Illinois. But this is USC, and we're crashing back down to earth. So,
well, I mean, and look at it like this. We played the same caliber of teams they played this year so far. Sure. Okay, we are the number 1 offense in the nation. They have the number 50 defense in the nation. Right. That's not good. That's not good for them. That's a horrible matchup for them, considering that you could say we've played common opponents almost, because they're very similar. You know what I mean? Right. This game is not played on paper. I know that. I've learned that the hard way, high school, college, and pro. But at the end of the day, I'm expecting to see Lincoln Riley's 4th year, first game on the road, Big Ten, afternoon game, 3:30 game. Everybody's going to be watching. And I'm expecting to see a performance, a continuation of what we have already seen.
I agree with you. And in the next segment, we're going to talk about the advantages. Who has the advantages on both sides of the ball? First, I got to take care of a little bit of business. So this episode is brought to you by Mazda's Moving the Game Forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move the culture, and they keep moving the game forward. This week's moment, and I'm going to go back to last week's game because we haven't watched this week's game yet, but this week's moment that moved the game forward, that belongs to Jacoby Lane. If you haven't seen the highlight yet, get out from under your rock, because you're probably one of the few that has not seen perhaps one of the greatest one-hand catches I've ever seen in my lifetime, and that's over 50 plus years. Now, Jacoby's made a whole bunch of one-handed catches during his career, but the one he had last week, when you have somebody, he literally had 170 pounds hanging on one arm, he still got off both feet, jumped with his right arm, snagged it with one hand, touchdown USC. It's almost like he comes equipped with a Velcro glove, a tow package on your Mazda. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, Marvin. So I think we agree USC has the advantage on paper. I look at the coaching staffs, and I love USC's coaching staff, one of the best in the country, especially on that defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. But Purdue's got a pretty nice staff themselves. Barry Odom, it seems like programs hire him to fix their problems, rebuild them, and get them going. He did it at Missouri. He did it at UNLV. He's a defensive-minded coach. Mm-hmm. Lincoln Riley, he's the offensive-minded. He's the guru. Now, I like Danton Lynn as USC's defensive coordinator. Josh Henson is Purdue's offensive coordinator, so you got that overlap there. Josh was able to watch Coach Lynn install the defense last year. He understands Riley's mindset. The game's being played on the road. Are the advantages canceled out, or is it still, USC's coaching staff is still, just because of what they have on the roster, is that balance the scales, so to speak?
No, not at all.
Well,
listen, no, listen, I love SC. Sure. I try to be as objective as possible, but the reality is, when you look at what it is, and you mentioned Josh Henson, and he did a great job for us, and he's over there calling plays. He's not Lincoln Riley. More importantly, he doesn't have Lincoln Riley's athletes. And in regards to the insight, there are no secrets in football. We have film. You know what teams do. There's no secret. You know exactly what they do, what their favorite stuff to do is. Josh knows the caliber of players that we have. And at the end of the day, even if he understands Danton's system and what he's doing, it comes down to the players and execution. That favors us on offense. That favors us on defense. That favors us on special teams.
let me ask you this question more specifically. Barry Odom was Jaden Maiava's head coach at UNLV for a year. We know that Jaden is starting to come into his own. Once his decision making becomes, nothing's perfect, but comes consistently better, like he's had in these first 2 games. Is there any advantage there where Odom knows how to get into Jaden's head? Because again, he's a defensive-minded coach. He knows Jaden's tendencies, or has Lincoln Riley already coached that kind of stuff out of him?
Yeah, and you said it. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, there is an advantage for Odom just knowing the player, knowing the mentality, knowing the ability, knowing the pros and cons of the individual. There's an advantage to that to a degree. But as you just said, this guy's been in the Lincoln Riley program for the last year and a half. Lincoln Riley is the quarterback whisperer, quarterback guru. That's already been proven. There's without question, we've seen a different Maiava. He looks different. He's a whole other person out there. The energy, the confidence, where he's moving, getting the ball out quick. He's been coached up. So a lot of those kinks and things that Odom may have saw at UNLV when Jaden was a freshman, a lot of us has been worked out and worked through. Is there still an advantage? Sure, there's an advantage to a degree. But Link has been coaching this guy up, and I think any advantage that Coach Odom thinks he has will be minimal.
Do you think that Purdue will be able to control the ball? In other words, keep the ball away from USC. And again, it's not going to be – if USC scores quickly, they score quickly. But, Coach Riley's talked about time of possession before. It's really one of those odd stats that people look at. But if you're putting up yards, if you're doing stuff between the 20s, but you're not coming away with points, those are all empty stats.
Absolutely.
And, USC is all about scoring touchdowns. If Purdue's drives don't end in touchdowns, that could be problematic.
Yeah, typically it's easiest for a team to score on the opening possession and also coming out the second half because you can add, you script everything and you can add subtle differences to the routes and to the blocking scheme to confuse the defense. So don't be surprised if Purdue comes out there in the opening drive and they do something. It's realistic. They're going to have to run that ball. It's in their favor to run the ball if they can, but again, it's that's to our advantage, So at the end of the day, I don't see them having tremendous offensive output. They haven't really showed it yet, And what they've done in scoring 35 points against SIU in a shootout, that's not really impressive to me, So for Purdue. It's going to be a struggle. It should be a struggle offensively, but they're going to have offensive. They're going to have some production. And what I don't want to see is our fan base lose their mind when they get a few first downs. If the running back gets a 5-10 yard gain.
You know better than that, Marvin. You know better than that. And USC fans, they live in this world of everything is perfect, unrealistic, unless it goes USC's way.
Yeah,
I love that passion. I do.
And they're also living in the past. What I feel like just from looking at stuff online, we're worried about everything that happened last year in the first 3 years. I hear a lot of references of just like last year, they hadn't fixed this. Again, we played 2 inferior opponents. We played the entire roster. We played guys who were 17 years old, first time seeing the big lights, and these things are going to happen. In this Purdue game, again, they have an athletic quarterback. Don't be surprised if they, if they make a few plays. But at the end of the day, that I think when they're so limited on offense, and we don't have to double a receiver, and we don't have to stack the box to stop their run. I think with that, we should be able to do a good job focusing on the contain of that quarterback because he will be the difference in the game. If anything, it won't be the running back.
Yeah, and here's how I see it playing out. Both teams have athletic quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Obviously, we like Jaden Maiava. They have Ryan Brown. They've got a nice featured running back in Devin Maccabi. USC has at least 3 guys that they can run at you. The difference for in the teams, because they do run similar offensive schemes, is Jaden has more toys in his toy box.
Absolutely.
And I think USC's secondary is going to be good enough against Purdue's, guys on the outside, their wide receivers. You mentioned Mike Jackson. They just don't have the layers of depth behind a Mekhi Lemon, a Jacoby Lane that USC can roll out there.
Look, we got 3 guys in the backfield on the Doak Walker list. We have the best 1-2 combination in the nation. It's early, but I saw Jaden in a Heisman poll already. Purdue's defense isn't ready for all that. That's a lot. That's a and then the tight end game is just coming. Is really unreal. And I don't know if Prince Strom is coming back this week, because I like that kid. I like that young man a lot.
Me too.
So we have stuff that they've seen, players that they know about, and we just have depth that they're not ready for. So, I've been trying to find a way and a reason to give Purdue a little bit more credit and give them a little bit more respect, to be honest with you. But as I look at their team, I just look at their lack of speed, and I just look at the fact that they got all these new players. This is going to be a tough game for them. I believe that.
Agreed. And just to tie a bow on this segment, USC has already had 12 different players score an offensive touchdown. That's what I'm trying to say is I don't think Purdue, and it's not just because USC scoring points, they just don't have that type of roster yet. I mean, again, they're in a rebuild mode right now. They brought in 50 new guys out of the transfer portal. That's a lot. Team chemistry, you know it as well as anybody. Team chemistry, especially in the game of football, means everything.
It does. I also saw that this is going to be the game where they honor the 2000 Big Ten champions at Purdue. Drew Brees and those boys are going to be out there. I hate it for them. I hate that this is the game they're coming to. It's unfortunate that Drew Brees ain't going to suit up for them. It's unfortunate that Mike Allstott and Rod Woodson can't come out the tunnel for them. They're going to have to rely on those 50 new players they got from FCS schools and from other Power 4 schools.
Maybe one of these days, Drew Brees will see his team beat a USC Trojan team, but that's for another day.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more segment to go. When I'm on top of my hydration, I notice everything works so much better. My energy, my mood, my focus, even the skin looks great. But for me, getting fluids every day, that's never been a problem. That's an easy thing for me. It can be easy for you. It's called Drip Drop. Drip Drop is doctor developed and scientifically proven for fast hydration. It uses the perfect balance of sodium electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb fluids quickly, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of the leading sports drink. I already drink a lot of water. So again, staying hydrated, it's natural for me. Now it tastes good too. I just grab one of my flavor pouches, tear it open, pour it in, mix it, drink it, and I am good to go, and so can you. Right now, Drip Drop is offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first order. Just head to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONCollege for 20% off. The weekend is here, and it's time to look back, look forward, and crown this week's MVP. No, it's not Marvin Powell. He is always the MVP on this show, but this one is powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more money every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. Last week, King Miller. He just keeps doing King Miller types of things. Mm-hmm. Game 1, 75-yard touchdown run. Game 2, just 41 yards untouched for another touchdown. He is streaking. He is dashing. He is doing it all. And just like King Miller delivers for USC, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season long, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period ends November 18th. All right. I got a little ahead of myself there. All right, Marvin, time to predict the game. Who's getting some flowers in this game when it's all over? We'll predict our final score at the very end here. But how do you see USC's running game going? Is it going to be another day of Waymon Jordan? Is this going to be Eli Sanders' feature game? Does King Miller jump in there and take everything?
Yeah, so again, I think this is a game where we play our starters a little bit longer. So I think Waymon's going to get a few carries. I'm hoping that he gets a few carries out the gate. We need to establish the run. That's how we need to start the game, especially on the road. That stadium's going to be loud. They're excited off of the Fool's Gold of the first 2 weeks. And at the end of the day, for us, running the ball would be everything. I'm expecting Waymon to get the carries. Obviously, Eli's phenomenal. He'll come in there and spell him. But this should be a Waymon Jordan game where we lean on the O-line heavy and get this kid the ball.
What I'd like to see, and I hopefully he's healthy, ready to go this game, is when USC is in that red zone, 5 yards are in, maybe even 10 yards are in, I want to see Brian Jackson in there. I want to see him carrying the rock, doing that Lendale White type of thing that we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Fortunately, USC doesn't use a fullback like they used to when you were on the team, but it is what it is.
They try to use that tight end. I see them line up that tight end in the backfield offset.
They're doing a great job.
Yeah, and I've noticed that. So that's what Lincoln's doing as opposed to using a fullback, and I see it. He's trying to implement that power game in there. And they've had, and listen, the first 2 games, I mean, they had gashes. They were gashing these teams. So that's the mentality. We have to go in there physical. We have to go in there violent. We have to go in there and attack. In these situations, long trip, hostile crowd. You got to punch him in the face. You got to come out there and just punch him in the face. And in football, you do that in the run game, and that starts up front with the offensive lineman coming off that ball and attacking that Purdue D line.
So, how many yards does USC get on the ground as a team? Just throw out a number.
Against Purdue, 200.
Okay.
200.
Okay. Yeah. Passing. Jaden Mayava, he's probably going to go the whole game this time, unless it's another huge blowout where you can go ahead and get Husan some minutes on the road. What kind of game is he putting up? How many? Is it 250 plus, 300 plus?
Yeah.
Can he go 3 straight games without a mistake?
Yeah. So I'll say it like this: and you mentioned it earlier with the one-handed catch. Purdue doesn't have the athletes to cover Mackay and Jacoby at all. We come out there and establish the run. Bring that safety up, and Jaden's playing 3 quarters plus. I mean, we're looking at another 350-yard game from him easily. Okay. And without question. Yeah.
Is this a game, just quick yes or no, does USC get 200-yard receivers?
Yes.
Okay. That's a pretty bold prediction. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, well, but listen, Makai Lennon, this guy's ripping off 70-yard touchdown runs with one catch. So, yeah, because they're going to have multiple catches. They're going to play longer in the game. Purdue doesn't have the caliber of athletes in the back end. So, yeah, I can totally see 200 yards between 2 receivers.
On the other side of the ball, defensively, USC is averaging 4.5 sacks per game through 2. How many times are they going to touch Ryan Brown, the quarterback?
I mean, they're going to touch him a lot. Listen. I watched Anthony Lucas get off last game. I saw him have his little coming out party, and his not just him.
Must be sky high right now.
Yeah, and that's amazing. That's awesome. You love that. This kid is feeling confident, which is everything. I expect multiple sacks. I mean, I expect us to come out this game with, I'm going to say, at least 5 sacks.
I like it. All right.
Yeah.
If that happens, USC's winning.
Count it. Yeah, 5. I said 5. Yeah.
All right. We don't want anybody to get hurt, but if you're burying the quarterback on the turf 5 times, as long as he's getting up, it's all good.
No, we want to hurt them all. We want to hurt their feelings. We want to hurt their quarterback. We want to hurt the people in the stands. We want to hurt them all.
And USC, they've been pretty good, creating turnovers. I think they've got 3 interceptions. They've got a couple of fumbles. Is this going to be a clean game, or is this going to be a sloppy game? How's it going to play out?
Listen, considering we've been very good with the football, Waymon had that 1 fumble last week. Mayava has no interceptions. We're playing clean football in regards to that. We look good in regards to taking care of the ball for the most part. I look for that to continue, especially going into Purdue, where we're going to be running that ball out the gate at least. So that should go well, because obviously that's been a point that's been emphasized because we're seeing the results.
All right. So here you go. I'm giving you my final score prediction. You ready?
Yeah.
USC 45, Purdue 17. USC covers the spread.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where are you?
Yeah, I'm 50-14.
Okay. All right. We're in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger ballpark, but that's all right.
And it wouldn't surprise me if that grew at all. The reality is this, and again, the game's played on grass, not on paper. It wouldn't shock me if Purdue didn't win a game the rest of the year, to be honest with you. I saw their schedule. I mean, maybe Rutgers. They might beat Rutgers, but they're building. They're coming up.
this next stretch for Purdue is a tough stretch. They got USC, Illinois, Notre Dame. Yeah, it could get gruesome real fast for those guys.
Right.
And we're hoping that it's going to be a gruesome Saturday afternoon for Purdue as well, on behalf of USC. And
no mercy.
No mercy. And
no mercy.
Lincoln Riley needs to get this monkey off his back. USC, the team, needs to get this road woe off their back. I'm going to say it again. It's been 14 games played in the Central or Eastern time zone where USC has not come home with a victory. It ends this Saturday against Purdue. Marvin and I, we will be back and talking about the game. We'll be talking about it. I'm not sure if it's going to be on Sunday or Monday, but we will be talking together, playing back the game, talking about what USC did well, what they need to do improve on to come home and take on Michigan State the following week. Marvin, again, thank you for doing this. The fans want you, so I'm going to keep bringing you back. I appreciate you so much. I cannot say it enough. I appreciate the fans who watch Locked On USC every single day of the week, part of the Locked On Network, your team every day. Till the next episode, everyone, you know what to do.